All right, guys. Mary, how are you?
Great. How are
All right,
you?
I'm doing pretty good. I am talking to Mary. She is a Keto Evangelist coach, an amazing lady who has an awesome story to tell. And we want to talk a little bit, Mary, about where you come from, what you're doing today. We're going to start with like where you are today. I like to start with the now and then kind of work backwards with
All
people
right.
so they can kind of say, okay, yeah, this is an awesome story. Wait, how did she get here? Right?
Yeah.
Because we've all got different places. I've talked to a bunch of different people that have had health issues, people that have maybe not had weight issues, but have had health issues, or
Hmm.
people that have had severe weight issues.
Hmm.
And because of that health issues, it's crazy how you can have health issues and not weight issues, and weight issues and seem like you're healthy. Like, it's just kind of crazy how that all works.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? You're a Keto Evangelist coach. What is a Keto Evangelist coach?
Well, I've been a Keto Evangelist coach for 4 years now, and what we
Okay.
do is we help people who either are new to the ketogenic lifestyle and they feel confused about the information they've seen online, and they want someone to work with one-on-one to
There's so much.
streamline everything for them. Yeah, because it's a nightmare when you Google keto, right? You get like a million different things, and they all contradict each other. And then
Mhm.
you join the Facebook groups, and every group has their own thing. And so it's no surprise that people get overwhelmed and confused. So
Right.
we help people navigate a ketogenic lifestyle that works for them with their particular situation. And we help them set up a protocol that'll help them reach what their individual goals are.
Awesome. Awesome. And you have a handful of coaches that
Yes,
kind of
we're
all
all
do
13 coaches.
do you all do the same thing? Do you have different focuses? Like, how does that work?
We all have kind of a niche, but some people like have their specialties.
Okay.
Jessica, for example, has a lot of people. Both her and I work with a lot of people that have eating disorders,
Okay.
and they're recovering binge eaters, that kind of thing. Elena and I also both work with a lot of people who have type 2 diabetes. Katrina works with people with lipedema. We have a coach who she has epilepsy, so people who have epilepsy tend to gravitate towards her.
Yep.
We have some guys that are like, they have weight loss stories and they're really into fitness now. So, the most of the like guys interested in fitness tend to gravitate towards them. But we all offer like mostly the same services.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. And what is your keto? How long have you been keto? You've been a coach for 4 years.
And a coach for 4 years. I just had my 6-year ketoversary on March 3rd.
Now, how does that happen? Because I've heard people say that keto is not sustainable.
I don't know. I'm like an anomaly. I know. I hear that too. I'll be, online and I'll make a comment, because I'm answering someone's question or something,
Right.
and someone will pipe in and tell me that it's not sustainable or healthy. And I'm like, really?
Right. Right.
Okay. This is new
Okay.
to me. My body didn't get the memo that
Yeah.
I should be dead.
Now, how did you get started? Was
So
keto your first choice? Like, did you just go, okay, I need to make a change, I'm going keto, or was there a
So
transition?
I actually was familiar with Atkins. I had tried Atkins a couple times. I knew I needed low carb because I knew I had a problem with carbs, that I would, compulsively eat them. And so March of 2014, I started Atkins, and then it was like I don't know, it was like a Wednesday or something. And then that Sunday, I went to Sunday school, and Brian Williamson, who's the founder of Ketovangelist, was in my Sunday. He was our Sunday school leader. And I told him, I said, yeah, I just started Atkins up this week. I started back because I'm finally, I can't stand myself anymore.
Mhm.
And he said, forget Atkins, do keto. And I was like, what is that? I had no idea. I mean, no, I'd never heard the word before.
Right.
But his family had been dealing with his son who had epilepsy. And so that's how he knew about it. And they had been dealing with the epilepsy for years. And then like after a few years, their doctor like nonchalantly is like, yeah, and you might want to look into the ketogenic diet. And so that's how he found it. And then they started doing it as a family, and he told me about it. So I immediately went home and like looked up what I could, but hardly found anything. But
Right.
I just trusted him because he's my friend and he's smart. And so I just did it. I I cut out sugar and grains, like, because Atkins, the problem with Atkins that I had was you like each phase you're adding more carbs in, and they didn't care about ingredients. So like the point
Yeah.
where I would get stalled and then quit and fall off and gain the weight back was when I would add chicken nuggets. Like when I got to the week where I had enough carbs that I could have chicken nuggets, and that was the beginning of the end.
It's like, rah,
Yes.
all the chicken
Yes.
nuggets. But
So,
it's healthy. It's protein. It's healthy. Yeah.
yeah. So that was that. Anyway, so I felt, amazing, and the weight was like dropping off, and like I had mental clarity. I wasn't napping in the afternoon. I wasn't yelling at my kids. Like I just felt so much better. Like this weight had been lifted.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I always struggled with was physical cravings, like because I was always trying to be a moderator, because that was the thing everybody tells you, right? Everything in moderation.
Right.
I was incapable of that. I couldn't do it. And so I was always white knuckling every diet that I ever did. And this, I wasn't white knuckling it, and I wasn't craving.
Yeah.
So I just went with it.
The whole mantra of mind over matter when it comes to nutrition is not sustainable. That's that's the part that's not sustainable.
Right.
When you find a nutrition plan that you can feel full, I told a guy, I had a conference, a consult with a guy yesterday, and I said, look, one of the things that we're going to do in your nutrition plan is I'm going to let you eat as much as you want. And he looked at me, he's like, what? I was like, you're going to sit down. I'm going to give you so much food that you're not going to know what to do with it, and you're going to lose weight. And he's like, I don't understand. Like, this makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Right? How is that not sustainable? Right.
Right.
And you never have to feel like you're hungry. You never have to feel like I need this. Right. I mean, that's
exactly it.
Yeah.
You don't suffer from hunger. Every diet I was ever on, I suffered from hunger.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, I was white knuckling. It was willpower, and it only goes so far.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So that was 6 years ago, you said?
Yes.
That's awesome. Happy anniversary. Happy keto-versary.
Thank you.
What are now you said two things you said there. One, it still amazes me to this day. You noticed this, you said Williamson, what was his first name? Sorry.
Brian Williamson.
Right. So he was dealing with his son, and his doctor kind of nonchalantly, hey, you might want to try the ketogenic diet.
Yeah.
The ease with which people brush off the ketogenic diet compared to the amount of positive impact it has on people's lives across the board.
Yeah.
To this day, absolutely amazes me. Absolutely.
It's mind-blowing. It's totally mind-blowing. And it doesn't matter too, like, how many people you tell your story to, or and there's thousands of us with anecdotal evidence. Here's what I did, and here's what happened to me. And still people will be like, well, my doctor said. Right. Well, your doctor's killing you is what I want to tell them.
Number one, your doctor's probably killing you. Number two, what kind of shape is your doctor in?
Right.
I don't even know the statistics, but I've met maybe I'm almost 50 years old. I've met maybe 2 healthy doctors in my life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think every doctor I've ever had has been overweight.
It's ridiculous. Okay. Enough of that. The other thing that you were talking about is you got to a point where you just said, I don't like myself. I don't like where I'm at. I need to make a change. What got you to that point? Like, what was your weight? What was your health like? What was your quality of life like at that point?
The turning point was the day before I started was my husband's birthday. And I had made him a Hershey cake from scratch, which I always did for all of our birthdays. Like that was a thing since I was a little girl. My grandmother taught me how to make the cake. It's my favorite. So I made it for everybody's birthday because I was going to eat it, right? And so it was his birthday, and we had the cake and ice cream thing, and everybody went to bed, and I did what I always did, and I binged on the rest of the cake and the ice cream. And I was type 2. I got diagnosed type 2 diabetes in 2008. So I was diabetic, and I would keep, I would always try, but I always ended up, in the binge diet cycle.
Right.
And so the next morning I weighed myself, and it was the highest weight I had seen on the scale yet. It was 260. Okay. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm closer now to 300 pounds than I am to 200 pounds. and it freaked me out a little bit. And then I checked my blood sugar and it was almost as high as my weight.
Wow.
And that freaked me out. And so I was just like, I don't know. I had this moment. And then the closer was like, okay, I already decided, okay, I'm starting today again, right? Like, but I got out our camera and I took a picture.
Yep.
And I used to joke, like when I would see pictures of I would joke that I had reverse anorexia, because like I could look in the mirror and be like, oh, it's okay, I'm not that fat. But then I would look at a picture and I'd be like, who is that?
Right.
Like this big person. And so I took a picture and I looked at it and I just started crying. I'm like in my bathroom looking at the screen on the digital camera,
right,
crying. And I don't know. And it wasn't like I hadn't cried over my condition before. It wasn't like I hadn't woken up many other days saying, today's the day. I did that hundreds of times.
Yeah.
But that day, for whatever reason, was different. And I actually think, though, I don't know that it was necessarily that day that made the difference. I honestly think it was that I switched to keto from Atkins. I think that if I had tried to stick to Atkins, I would have done the same repeat, cycle that I was always doing. I think the fact that I changed to keto and I experienced what I experienced was what kept me going.
Absolutely. And it's a huge point, right? How many times do people get started, but because they don't get started right, they don't get started with the right program, they don't get started with a mentor, with someone who's there to help them along the way. There's so many factors that can go into how you get started that will help determine, because again, willpower is only going to get you so far.
That's right.
Right. So I think this is a good lesson for people to take away from this talk is willpower may be what gets you started, but if you don't have a program that works, and you can know it works by looking at other people that are doing it successfully, right?
Yeah.
That's what these videos are for, people that are doing it successfully. Watch all these videos. There's going to be a ton of them. I hope to never stop. I hope to never run out of stories to tell. And then a program, people, and a coach, right? Or if you're not going to get a coach, at least follow somebody who's giving information that you can use in your life that's going to help you succeed.
Absolutely.
And there's more and more of those types of people every day, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of doctors. There's plenty of people like you and me and other people that have done it, that are in the business to help people.
Yeah.
And so, I think those are three good factors. Cool. So your process, you got started. What kind of success, or what were some of the challenges you had first getting started? We'll talk about successes next.
So for me, it was getting past the urge to binge, even though I felt so good and I didn't have physical cravings. I had an emotional relationship with food.
Yeah.
So because I wasn't physically struggling with wanting food, I wasn't physically struggling with cravings. I wasn't starving. I felt very satisfied. I was able to, have the energy to look at finally, okay, why have you been binging your whole life? What's going on? What is it you're looking for? Because all my life, food had been my comfort, my entertainment, my reward.
Right.
It was the reason, for everything. I didn't need a reason to eat. Like I just ate all the time. And I felt, this is true, I felt hungry all the time, but I think it's because I wasn't nourished. I wasn't eating things that were nourishing. So I felt that hunger all the time. And I couldn't, it was like, why am I so hungry all the time? I could never feel satisfied. So when I finally got that feeling of satisfaction, it was such a relief. But so because I had the mental wherewithal, because of that, I could focus on, the issues, the reasons why I ate. And so I was able to fight back against that voice of sabotage that was like, it's your birthday. You should have some cake. You haven't had cake all year. Are you really not going to have cake? It's that voice in your head and you're at war with it. Yeah. And so I had to learn how to fight back against that voice and shut it down.
There's that mental game, right? Especially when it becomes a ritual or a habit.
Yes.
And you have to break the habit. Like I know one of the first things for me, I've gone through a couple of different iterations of that to some level. First, it was alcohol for me. Like I used to be come home from work, have a glass of whiskey. That was 3, 4, 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
Just a glass, not like down a whole bottle or anything. It
Right.
just had a glass, watch some TV, and chill out for the evening. When I stopped doing that for a few weeks, I lost 10 pounds in like a month. Just the only thing I changed was one glass of alcohol 3 to 4 nights a week.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Wait a second, what happened? But then it got to the point where it's okay. Well, I know what that's doing to me. I know that's obviously not helping me reach my goal.
Right.
And I'm not an alcoholic, but I'm in the habit of doing it. I feel like when I get home now, instead of that, what am I going to do? Like, I don't know what to do with myself. I need a glass of something in my hand,
Yeah.
So you have to figure out how to replace that with something good, or come up with a different ritual, different routine, change your schedule, do something different to kind of get that thing out of your brain,
That's a great point. Like, I gave up watching TV for 2 years because I was a nighttime eater, and I would sit down in front of the TV at night and binge. That was like my thing. Every night, everybody goes to bed. It's my time on the couch. I could take in 5,000-6,000 calories while watching TV.
Yeah.
And so when I started keto, I would try to still watch TV at night, but I would feel compelled to eat. And, and for a while I would eat cheese and salami or cream cheese and like I'm eating keto friendly stuff. Right.
Right.
And then I realized this is not good for me to be, still eating at night, even though I was still losing weight. I knew that I wasn't hungry, that I was eating because I was in front of the TV. And so I tried not eating, and that felt like torture. So even though I wasn't hungry, it was like, no, eating is what I do when I watch TV.
Yep.
So finally I was like, okay, I'm giving up TV. And I started reading instead. And
that's awesome.
I used reading to distract and I've always been a reader, but I had gotten away from it. And so my first year keto, I read almost 300 books.
Yeah. Your brain's like
needed a distraction from the food, so.
That's awesome. So you're getting your body healthy and your mind is growing too. That's awesome. That's the best thing so far. This whole talk. Everybody stop the TV and start reading books.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So what are some of the things that you've noticed, and did you notice them all right away? Like you're 6 years into this, right? Most people are struggling with keeping going for 6 months.
Yeah.
Right. So what are some of the things that you've learned? Did you learn them all at the same time? Like, what are some of the things that you learned throughout the 6 years? And has it changed? Like, are you keto now the way you were 6 years ago?
No. Yeah. I'm still learning. I've had a coach for a couple of years. I work with a coach because it's like, I am very good at, working with other people, but I still get emotionally wrapped up in my own stuff. So I have to have somebody to work with and bounce things off of, and have someone help me keep a clear focus. Right. Yeah. So I still learn new stuff all the time. And I'm a huge fan of experimenting. I like to do different experiments, things like that. But yeah, my first year keto is very different. That my first year keto was fairly dirty keto. And now, I've except for like the keto brick, I don't really do anything sweet. And the keto brick is like so amazing and filling that it's not one of those sweet things that like triggers me. Like I can eat a keto brick with coffee and feel satisfied for several hours. But if I were to make keto brownies for my husband and my son and I ate just one, I'd be thinking about them until they ate them. I'm like, please eat this tray of brownies. I don't want them to eat them. So I just generally, I avoid sweets. I don't do fruit. I'm mostly carnivore now. I won't say I'm strict carnivore because I like avocado. I occasionally like a salad.
Sure.
Sometimes I like nut butter.
I had some pistachios the other day. Does that make me carnivore?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Right.
But my diet's primarily, meat based. Whereas that first year I did a lot of I would drink the Atkins shakes, and I would eat the Atkins bars for desserts.
Sure.
But so as far as things I learned, I think I was about, I don't know, 7 or 8 months in. And my friend Brian would tease me because he knew I ate the Atkins bars, and we had all gone to the movies. And, when you're watching a movie and you are unwrapping something that makes noise, well, I was unwrapping my Atkins bar, and he was his wife was next to me and he's on the other side and he hears the wrapper and he leans over and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, and he's like, "I thought I told you to not to eat that crap." And I had, he told me, stop eating those, like eat real food. But I was, I had to do my thing my way.
Yep.
I was like, no, I have to have a dessert. I can't, I wasn't all, in the mental space of that I could live a happy life without dessert.
Right.
Um, but that was the last one I had. And so my weight loss at that point, like that month that I was eating Atkins bars was like 4 pounds. The next month, no Atkins bars, 8 pounds. So, it was like a turning point for me. I'm like, wow, okay. So I cut those out and I lost twice the amount that I lost the month before. So yeah, I learn stuff all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. The conversation, well, tell me something. So you said dirty keto. Just out of curiosity, as a coach, you've been doing this for a few years. How many different labels of keto have you heard?
Lord, dirty keto, lazy keto, clean keto, strict keto, medical keto, like carnivore keto. Yeah, all of them.
Okay. Gosh, I don't even know where to go with that, because for something about humans, we have to label things. It helps us.
Yes.
It helps us understand what they are. We put them in a box. We can understand it easier. I just want people to understand that it doesn't matter what version of keto you're doing. Basically, we're talking about restricting carbs, getting fat adapted, and getting healthy.
Yes.
Those are the three components. If those three things are happening,
I think we all start on that, like, the dirtier end of the spectrum, right? Because we just don't know what we don't know. And then as we go, we realize, okay, well, I feel better without this, or we learn something. We see an amazing like Dr. Berry video or something, and you're like, ding, ding, ding. Okay, I'm gonna, and so we change as we learn. And I think that that's an important part of the journey is learning. I think, there are people who they never pick up a book about keto. They just like go to the Facebook groups and they listen to 30 different people, and maybe the information they're getting is bad or doesn't really pertain to them, or isn't going to work for them because they're talking to someone who, does keto for one reason and they need it for another. Like there's so many, different ways to go about stuff. And so now I'm at the point where, like, yes, I'm keto. I identify as keto. But I just tell people I eat real food. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat grains. I just eat real food.
Yeah. And that's the kicker, right? Keep it real, keep it healthy. What are your thoughts on, and this may be a black hole, I don't know. But as a coach, because I know I run into it, people ask me all the time, is what about things that say keto on them? Right?
Yeah.
Right. I'll let you handle. I'll let you go there, because I know I know where I'm at. I just want to.
I deal with this all the time.
Yeah.
So I tell my clients, look, you have to inspect what you expect.
Ooh,
read the labels.
Oh, dude, I got to use that. Inspect.
Read those labels, and the back of the label, not the front that says keto friendly, certified keto. Like there's all these different things, right? And you turn over the back and it's, there are keto products that you turn it over and it has cane sugar. And we can I know there's the camp out there, and keto is a state of ketosis. It's that there's no, keto approved food, but that's not true, because there's certain things that will kick you out of ketosis. There's certain things that are not metabolically healthy. And there's this trend, everybody wants to call like everybody is on keto now. Everybody wants to call what they're doing keto, but what they're really doing is low carb. I just personally take the view that keto is real foods and it's extremely low carb. And if you're doing the thing where you're eating, you're counting net carbs and you're eating sweets every day, that's not optimal. So I tell my clients, inspect what you expect, read those labels. If it has maltodextrin or any other, form of sugar, avoid it. If it's, and don't count net carbs. Like this is what all of these keto, all the products labeled keto, they're telling you net carbs, but if you look at it, it's like 25 total carbs because it's got almond flour, it's got, you know, it's got the sugar alcohols and all these things, and those still count. I mean, you can say, oh yeah, you can count net carbs, you can deduct this, you can deduct that, but your body is still counting it. And I know mine did.
Yeah.
Mine was counting it.
Even if your body doesn't, the thought, like you said, you deal with a lot of people that have eating disorders or binge eating problems, things like that. There's a mental aspect that goes into the flavor profile of what you put in your mouth. So if you're constantly eating fake food, because that's what it is, people, it's fake food.
Fake food.
It comes in a box, right? If it comes in a box and it has a label on it, it's probably fake food, right?
Yeah.
You're putting it into your mouth and it tastes just like the real bad food, fake food, right? It's still fake food.
You're trading one addiction for another. A lot of people are trading one addiction for another. So is the keto version of something healthier? Probably, but not if you're still eating the whole pan. Like, you know, if you're still eating the whole tray of brownies and you're justifying it because it's keto and you can eat all the brownies because the whole thing is only 60 carbs as opposed to 260 carbs and it's not wheat, you know, fine, whatever, sure, it's healthier ingredients, but it's not a healthy relationship with food to still constantly be beholden to the sweet taste. Like, you know, I wanted to get away from, I mean, my first year keto, I was still like chasing the sweet taste because I didn't know that life was going to still be good without sweet things. You know?
I gotta have my sweets.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean, like you said, you know, that doesn't mean you never have it. That doesn't mean you never indulged at times.
It's just a regular thing.
Yeah. You can't be. It's lifestyle habits, right? What you do 90% of the time, 85, 90% of the time, that's going to get you there. And then I tell people this, you know, too, is as you get better with your nutrition, with your lifestyle habits, and mentally wrap your head around what good nutrition is and you understand it better, as you get healthier, when these things come together, it kind of gives you a little bit more leeway to maybe loosen up a little bit. Right. And then you can enjoy some things a little bit more if you want to, because you now have the buffer, the education, the experience, the knowledge to handle when things get thrown at you.
Right. So what I tell my clients, because they'll ask me all the time, they'll send me a picture of something. Can I have this? Is this allowed? And, you know, I'll give them my opinion. I'll say, well, yes, because here's why, or no, I wouldn't because here's why. But I also tell people the question to ask, sorry, my dogs are losing their mind again. The question to ask isn't, is this allowed? Because there are a lot of things that are allowed on keto, and there are a lot of people that are wildly successful with losing weight, improving their numbers and all of that, with, you know, still eating like lots of processed products and stuff. For whatever reason, it still works for them. So the question is not, is this allowed? It's, is this beneficial for me? Boom. Because it could be like almond butter is allowed, but I have a tendency to want to overeat almond butter. So is almond butter is allowed? Yes. But is it beneficial for me? Not really. Right. Unless I could keep it to one serving. So I very rarely have it because, I mean, have you seen one serving of almond butter? It's just enough to make you mad. Yeah. So I just choose to like not really have it anymore because I want it all. I don't want this less serving. So that's the question. You know, we have to ask if it's beneficial. If it's not beneficial, it doesn't matter if a million other people are eating it on keto and everybody says it's okay. If it's not okay for you, don't eat it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What works best for you? Is this going to help me get where I want to go or keep me from getting where I want to go?
Right.
That is, that's the only question you got to ask. It's, there's no ruling council on keto that's going to say this is approved. This is not yet.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And especially for people that are like, they're wanting to improve their blood sugar. Like social media, I love social media, but I also hate it. There's people out there who they'll promote a product and they'll say, and it doesn't spike your blood sugar. And what they mean is it didn't spike theirs, because I have tried several things that, somebody else said, yeah, it didn't spike me, but it spiked me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, we have to, again, it goes back to inspecting what we expect. Don't
Right.
eat something because you think it won't hurt your blood sugar just because Joe Schmo said, hey, yeah, it didn't raise my blood sugar. Well, he's got 10% body fat and is metabolically healthy, whereas you might still be 230 pounds and don't have a normal A1C yet. It's going to spike your blood sugar probably.
Or who knows? There's so many things that go into that stuff.
Right.
What did they eat it with? Yeah. Try it yourself, guys. If it's working for you,
try it and test it.
Yes. If it doesn't set you back, then maybe it's okay. But again, also, what's your motivation? Why do you want it? Right? It's not just, if it's, well, I really want to see if this is going to spike my blood sugar, not because I need to have this brownie. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's something you need to think about too.
Right. That goes back to the emotional attachment.
Right. Yeah.
I'll have clients ask me, is it okay if I've been thinking about having a Lily's bar. Like, well, why do you want it? I don't know. It's been a while since I've had chocolate. Well, what do you think that it's going to do for you? I don't know. I just like, what's going on? Usually it's because they're fantasizing. I have to tell people, don't go down the road of euphoric recall and food fantasy. That's the quickest way that you're going to relapse. Because you're thinking about it. Because what we think about is what we gravitate towards. So if you're constantly fantasizing about these foods that you miss and you want, you're going to end up caving.
Absolutely. Go eat a steak, get full, and then go take a nap.
You won't want it.
Then you won't want it. Very good. Awesome. What are some things? Let's just talk like one common mistake that you see people make on keto. Getting started.
So I think personally that the net carbs thing is a mistake.
Okay, so that's probably one of the big things.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
Explain that real quick.
Total carbs. What's that?
Explain that real quick in case anybody new is listening.
Oh, so total carbs is you're counting all the carbs in something. If avoid things with the label, but if you're looking, for the sake of this example, if you're looking at a label, it says total carbohydrates. That's what you count. A lot of people, though, will say count net carbs. And so what they do is take the total carbohydrates and they deduct fiber, they deduct sugar, alcohol, and then they come up with the net carb amount. So sometimes it'll, you have something that's total carbs 20, but you end up with net carbs 2 because of the fiber and the sugar or alcohols. But your body's counting all 20 carbs. So just count the total carbs. You'll get optimal. I think you'll get optimal results counting total versus net. So I think that's the biggest mistake. And then I think the other mistake for people who are, not everybody does keto for the same reason, but for people who are doing keto to lose weight, people who are obese, people who are binge eaters, compulsive eaters, obsessed with food, the other mistake is keto-fying everything.
Yes. Stop keto-fying. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
If it's naturally low in carbs, it's good for you. Like it's naturally low in carbs. That's what you should be eating. Don't try to take something that would normally be high in carbs and figure out, okay, what can I do to make it low in carbs so that I can have it? Like that's extra work. That's also one of the stressors. It makes you think about food all the time because you're always thinking about, well, what am I going to eat and how am I going to make it work for keto? No, just pick the choices that were made for us to eat that way, right? It takes the stress out of the whole process.
Yeah. Well, I think including sweets on a regular basis, it keeps the cravings coming. And I also think it increases our appetite. Like, so we think we're hungry more often than we probably really are because we indulge in the sweets. And, if you let go of them, there's a period of time where, it's probably going to suck and you're going to go through a little bit of withdrawal period. But once the cravings go away, they're gone, and then you have to deal with like what's in your mind. And that's where the other mistake people make is they never address the relationship with food. And they make the mistake of thinking that they're fixed. Like they'll reach their goal. We see this all the time. They'll reach their goal. They reached it with keto. And then they decide, hey, I'm normal now. I'm going to have cake on my birthday. I'm going to not be keto on my vacation. And it's the beginning of the end for every single one of them. And they gain weight back, half of it or all of it, by the time they realize their mistake and they come back to keto.
Right. Absolutely. It's got to become a lifestyle, not just something. If your mindset is I'm reaching this goal and I'm done.
Yeah.
Then you're already set up for failure.
Oh yeah. You can't. I love when people make like, even like in magazines and sometimes like quote experts will talk about, the negatives of keto. Well, if you stop, you'll gain it back. Well, of course you will. It's like, I saw, who's the doctor from Diet Doctor, I can't remember his name right now, but I saw him speak at a conference and he said, it's like showers, like, yeah, I took a shower once and it was great, but I stopped taking showers and now I stink. It's like, you have to keep taking showers. It's the same principle. You got to keep doing it. Of course, if you go back to eating carbs, you're going to gain it back. Like, and isn't it that way with every diet? It always amazes me when people want to use that as a negative for keto. I mean, I did, Jenny Craig, and when I quit that, I gained it back too.
Right. And that's the thing. And the difference is, and you're right, it's the same thing for every diet.
Yes.
Okay. The thing is figuring out how to make a diet a lifestyle.
Right.
And of all of the diets out there, the ketogenic nutrition lifestyle is living ketogenically, is more sustainable. And I love how we started this and we're ending with that, right? Is more sustainable. So it's easier to take that shower every day than any other diet because you're not starving yourself. You feel good. You have energy. You're mentally clear, right? It's all these things that come with it. You're not stressed over what I'm going to eat today.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to think about how hard is it to eat steak, right? Yeah. And then, and half the times you're full. You're like, I don't really feel like I even need to eat right now. Like it's, so
it's total freedom. And that's, so, I mean, that's the major, I wasn't free yet year one. I was still learning, but I have the last, 3-4 years, I have total freedom. It took me a couple years to get there.
That's awesome. That's a good thing. Let's end on that. It took you a couple years to get there. Talk about the time frame, and did you struggle with how long it was taking? Because I get that every single day.
Yes.
I've been doing keto for 3 weeks. I lost 10 pounds and now I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Hold on a second here.
Yeah. I have a client who recently got upset with me because she only lost 16 pounds in a month.
Oh, wow. 4 pounds a week isn't good enough.
I know. I was like, we need to talk about realistic expectations here. So it took me 22 months to lose 106 pounds, which averages out to 4 pounds a month.
Yeah.
I lost, the first month was like 18 pounds because I lost 13 pounds like the first 2 weeks. And then it dropped off. And then there was like several times, like one time was a 9-week stretch. I lost nothing. Like the scale was literally the same every stinking day. And then it suddenly started going down again. And then it was like, so it was like, it was very slow in my mind, like very slow going.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is like, well, I could have, a lot of people will say, I'm going to give up if I don't start losing weight. Well, how does that make sense? Giving up isn't going to get you to your goal. Like, why not just keep going and see what happens?
Yep.
Like maybe you have to tweak something, or maybe you're doing everything right and your body just needs some time, to get it together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I got a flat tire, so I'm going to pop the other 3.
Yes, I use that analogy. Like, I'll have somebody, they'll be like, oh, I messed up, I screwed up. This is the language we use when we have eating disorders. I messed up, I screwed up, I fell off the wagon, and I figured since I'd already done that I might as well just, eat it, go ahead and just eat the rest and start over tomorrow. And I would tell like that is like, oh, I got a flat tire, I may as well pop the other 3 because I have a flat. It makes no sense. Like if you make a mistake, if you backslide, you don't have to keep going just because that's what you've always done. You can stop and decide, okay, I made this mistake, but I don't need to exacerbate it. I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to get right back on track.
Right. Awesome. If you had one thing you wanted to leave, we'll wrap this up. If you had one thing you wanted to leave as a message for people, what, getting started in keto, getting started in their fitness journey in general, just life lessons in general from Coach Mary, what's something that you want to kind of pass along?
Be patient and don't cheat. That's my 2 big tips. Be patient and don't cheat. It's not going to happen overnight. If you spend a lifetime, gaining weight and developing health problems, you're not going to turn it around in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Be patient.
Yeah. Okay. And what about don't cheat?
Don't cheat. Because for most of us, cheating is always the beginning of the end. most people don't have the willpower to have one cheat meal and walk away. It usually starts the downward spiral.
So especially if someone's having problems with
Yes.
binging, eating disorder, just not having a good relationship with food.
Yeah. Just commit to like food. I call it being food sober. Commit to food sobriety.
Okay. All right, cool. And that goes back into, why do you want to have that? Can I have a cheat meal? Why do you want that cheat meal?
Why do you want it? What do you think it's going to do for you?
Yeah. Focus on that first, and then, okay. And the answer is probably no. After you do some self-examination about why you want something that you already know, the reason you're asking is because you know it's bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
Once you ask that question and do some self-reflection, you'll probably realize, okay, I really shouldn't do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you very much, Mary, for your time.
Thank you.
I hope this helps out a lot of people. Do you have anything going on right now that you'd like to share with people? Any challenges, any, events or anything going on at the Keto Evangelist side or anything like that you want to?
So, well, Keto Evangelist coaching, if you go to ketoevangelistcoaching.com, you can see our different coaching programs. We have one-on-one coaching. We have specialty groups that are 8 weeks long, focusing on different topics. Coach Jessica and I personally do a food addiction and recovery group that's 8 weeks. It's very powerful. We always have 2 groups going at once because it's so popular. Okay. And then we also have challenge groups, like people who want to start carnivore. You can do a 4-week carnivore challenge where you're in a group with other people and learning carnivore together. So you can see all that at the website. And then, of course, Keto Evangelist we're the company that puts on KetoCon. So we have awesome. June. Everybody should go to KetoCon. And I know there's lots of stuff going on right now, but as of right now, we're like in the window where it's probably gonna happen, and we're moving forward with it.
Awesome, awesome, cool. That's good to know because I'm all booked up.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will put your contact info and all that kind of stuff in this when I post it up on YouTube, social media and stuff. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.